Excited to have the legend Rodrigo Lopez back in the building. Thanks for doing this, brother. How are you, man?
I'm good, man. I'm feeling great. The more I play, the better I feel, and just busy living a busy life with the family, my academy, obviously being a pro, and just being a human.
You got a lot going on.
Too much.
Too much. But obviously, dude, it was so good. It has been so good seeing you back on the pitch. Seeing you come, I know you came back in the road game, but it didn't feel like you were fully back until we got to see you play in person at Hard Health Park. What was it like getting that reaction and returning to the pitch?
Yeah, for me it was the first time back on the field was Tulsa, which with the result, honestly, it didn't really feel like a comeback, like a real comeback. And obviously, coming home against a top team like Louisville and being able to play a little bit, even though we tied, it just felt a little more real. It felt, a little more of what I wanted. I wanted to come back and for my family, most of all, to see me, for Roman to see me, and, obviously for the fans to see, that no matter how old I get, I've put in the work to come back, and I'm excited. I'm excited to be wearing the crest again and being out on the pitch.
You talked about how busy you are, but the rehab process takes a lot of time. How tough was that? Obviously mentally, but just taking as much time as you needed to get back to where you could feel good getting back onto the pitch while you got 7 other things you're juggling.
Yeah, I mean, that was the last 11 months have been crazy to say the least, but mentally is the toughest part. I think physically I could get by, and I'm a hard worker. I like to push myself, and I like to do the extra work and put in the work that people don't see. But mentally, man, it's been so hard, especially with having a family, 2 kids, Roman's recovery as well, Remy's autism. Just juggling everything at home is pretty busy, but I found time to figure out my workouts and my rehab, and Katie and Luke did a phenomenal job, Dave as well, with making their time and or scheduling around my time sometimes, and making sure that I put in my work. And sometimes I was at CRC in the gym without no one even knowing, or at times that people don't even know, 5 a.m. sometimes. It's just to be able to wake up and take Roman and Remy to school, and just things like that. So it's been tough, but at the end of the day, the days that I come back, or the day that I step back on the field, it makes it all worth it.
When you got injured last year, and we don't have to go back about it too much, but I don't want to relive it. I know it's a painful experience and all that good stuff, but like, did you have thoughts of, hey, maybe this is it?
Yeah. Actually, I knew right away it was a bad injury. The pain I felt right when it happened, and the feeling I had was pretty bad. And then obviously the doctor checked me and said, you probably tore your ACL. And just walking back, I was really emotional. I went into the coach's office. Obviously we had won that game, so everyone was buzzing, but for me, it was just like, maybe it's time for me to give it up. And, at the time, the coaching staff was like, hey, just, take it day by day, go home, enjoy your family, and we'll see what they say, what the doctor says. But on the ride home, I think I told this yesterday in an interview for U.S. Soccer, but on the ride home, Roman was crying because I was not supposed to play the game. I was supposed to, be at UCLA still with Roman in the hospital, and his only wish was for me to play that game, that Open Cup game.
Wow.
So Mark was aware. I wanted to play as well, but my priority was to be with Roman. So I ended up playing, tear my ACL, and after the game, obviously you guys know that he showed up, a day after he gets out of the hospital, but he, on the way home, he's crying, he's saying it's his fault. And, you just, as a parent, you got to, understand the feelings that he had, but it was never his fault. I made the decision to play. I love this game. I love this team. And, I wanted to advance in the Open Cup, and sometimes family is more important, but I wanted to fulfill his dream. So on the ride home, he said, "Dad, just promise me you're going to play again. I want to see you play again." So then, it just 30 minutes before, an hour before, I was thinking of retiring. And, just hearing him say that just motivated me so much. I couldn't wait to get back or to have my surgery and start my rehabbing process.
That's an unbelievable story, man.
Yeah.
I mean, and then you guys, you could argue one of the coolest things is you guys got to basically rehab together.
Yeah, you know what? It's the more I thought about it, I had so much time to think and I was in a really dark place most of the time. Obviously, I didn't show it around my family or around my teammates or anyone, but when I was alone or when I had time to myself, it was very dark, even like doing workouts or rehab stuff. But then the more I thought about it, I was like, I'm Catholic. I believe in God, and just the whole script is amazing to me because we get hurt a week into each other's surgeries, and I think God was like, "Hey, this kid can't do it alone. He can't be away from the sport that he loves, and you go on and enjoy playing and like nothing's happening." But I think it was just something to settle me down and help him get through this process, because for me, an ACL injury has nothing. It's not compared to a heart surgery, open heart surgery. So we also got cleared a week or maybe 2 days, apart from each other. So
Wow.
It was just crazy.
So obviously, he's around training a lot when he's not at school and things.
Used to be.
Yeah, right, more. But what is it like when you get to see him on the side? I mean, I see him every game, obviously, and you get to see him after you make that return. Like, what was that like for you?
Man, I thank him. All the hard work and everything I put into coming back, I have to thank him because he's the one that asked for that to happen, and he's the one that pushed me to do it and motivated me so much to do it. So, obviously, my wife and Remy and my family, they all motivated me and they wanted me to do it. But, ultimately it was, Roman who made the call and, asked me to promise him that, and I couldn't let him down.
You obviously put a ton of work in to get back, man. Ton of work. So much. As you mentioned, so many things that people would never see, would never know. But when I hope the reaction from your family, the reaction from the fans, when you come back into Hard Health Park and you come off the bench, you stand up and your jersey comes off, people start to notice, like the energy starts to build, and then when you obviously the announcement is made, like it was.
I think it was more the announcement. I think you hyped it up so much that the crowd had to get up. They had to.
Well, I appreciate that.
You put in a lot of work into it. I love that. I really appreciate it because I think that's just just for me. I think or don't know everything, but you kind of saw what I went through and what it meant to me. So for you to do that and get the crowd going was special, and a lot of the kids that I coach and are having my academy were there, so it was just really special. My family, and it was an unreal moment.
Yeah, and I'm and from a fan perspective, which I can relate to because that's basically what I am. Like, just seeing you back out there, man. It's just so exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, I was actually talking to someone at coffee downstairs, and he's like, "I can't tell you how excited I am. Roro's back." I was like, "No way! We're coming up to do a podcast in like an hour." He's like, "Oh, tell him he's the best." I was like, "All right, I will."
I appreciate.
But like there's so many. I mean, you've been obviously around the club for a very long time, as long as the club has been around, truly.
Yeah.
So you have people who are newer fans, you have older fans. Everybody, you've had a lot of historic moments, like a crazy amount of historic moments. And so when people think about Republic and they think about their best players, they think about you. And the fact that you're still going, you're still playing at a high level, you come back, you make this return. It's just like, it's an unbelievable story, man.
Yeah, I mean, I set myself to not just to come back, but to come back even stronger. My results from like preseason testing were higher than the last 3-4 years. So,
wow.
One, I have to thank Katie and Luke and Dave, but I think Luke and Katie put in a lot of work as well, and they put a lot of, just planning for me and hopefully getting me back to where I wanted to be. And I know I'm still working my way up there, but I think I'm getting pretty close,
Yeah. I mean, you look good, man. You look good.
Appreciate it.
I want to ask what it's been like working with Neil and a new coach, obviously coming in the off season. I remember we ran into each other downstairs, and you asked me, "Hey, do you know who the new coach is?" And I was like, "No, you're gonna know before I am." Anyway, but how has it been with Neil, with the new coaching staff? Obviously, we have some returning coaches too, but Eric and then the new coaching staff so far in the season.
Yeah, no, it's been great. Actually, a couple of days before it was announced, one of his old teammates, not teammates, one of the players that he had coached in Tampa reached out to me and said, "Hey, you're gonna love working with Neil." And I was like, "Oh, so
that's how you found out?"
I don't know how he knew, but
he's probably knowing him. He's probably trying to recruit him.
And maybe, I don't know, but he spoke really highly of him, and I remember seeing him as a player as well, and just seeing the type of person that he is, not just a great coach, but type of person that he is with us, like outside of the field, is truly amazing. And on the field, he's all about work, work and getting the team prepared for the week or for a game. And that's what it takes. He's so passionate for the game, and transmits it to us every day.
Yeah, it's awesome to see.
Yeah.
I want to ask too. You a lot of the guys that were on that Open Cup team in 2022. You guys go to play San Jose in the Open Cup. Go on the road again. They have new coaching staff now, and I think they're doing a little better than they had in the past in terms of MLS. But what is it like kind of going against a team that, like, now you guys are like, I mean, it's weird that it's like that's just who we play every year now. It's kind of strange.
It is strange. My wife was like, again, San Jose again, that kind of thing. I think she meant it more because that's where I got hurt. But yeah, man, I don't mind playing them, just because, I feel like it's a rivalry. Mm-hmm. I think, I played against them the first 2 years that I was here, and we lost to them. In both games we were up, and we ended up losing one in overtime and then one in PKs. But then since I've been back, I haven't lost to them. So, they're just a good team. They're always a good team. But this year I feel like they're a lot better. They're well coached. A coach that actually knows the league very well, who's been very successful.
Yep.
And now he's bringing in players that that have proved themselves in the MLS. So it's going to be a very interesting match. And, to be honest, I'm really focused on Oakland right now. I think we need to get back to winning in league. And then, Sunday, 6 p.m., then we'll start worrying about San Jose. But it's going to be a good game. We want to advance. So
I remember last year in the Open Cup, I think you maybe tweeted it, or maybe we talked about it. I can't remember when you were talking about, we were talking, I think there was, the underdog story, and you're like, we're not underdogs. Isn't that what you said last year?
Yeah. No, I mean, I truly feel like a lot of our players could be playing in MLS, and I see some MLS games, or I've, watched some of these players, and, I truly believe that we have a lot of talent, not just in our team, but in our league. I think the USL league has grown tremendously, and, the talent that's around this league is great,
Yeah. What has it been like playing alongside Blake Willie, who's quite a bit younger than you? I know you. I'm sure you've taken him under your wing a little bit. But what has that been like for you?
It's been great. Blake, I've been fortunate to work with him, obviously, with the first team, but I when I was injured, I was able to work with the academy as well. So, I would go there and see the way he works and the way he plays, and you could see the talent that he has. And not just that, but he's very passionate for the game. He wants to get better every day, and he works hard, man. He works super, super hard, and he comes from a great family. Just a humble kid that just wants to play. And for me, I'm really hard on all the young guys, and it's not something that I do it because I love him. Yeah. But Blake, I think, is one of the ones that I've been harder on, just because he plays in my position, and I see so much in him, And last year, he knows it, and he'd tell you, but he knows that, after practice, I'm going to give him a big hug, and I'm going to tell him, he's doing great and to keep working. So he told me that he was at the first year's game, so he was a fan, and now I'm able to play with him, which is pretty cool.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
that's pretty awesome. I did want to ask, I know you are doing more coaching. What has that been like for you? I mean, you've always kind of been that coach on the field, but when I know you've done stuff with the academy, like you just mentioned, but like, what has that been like for you? Do you get the same satisfaction that as you do playing, or is it different? Like, it's
so much different.
Yeah.
It's so different, but like, I go to the academy, but I don't get to actually like coach the team.
Sure.
I still want to live that. I want to be able to, see how I would do as a coach. But Eder has opened doors to the academy, and, he's let me go out there when I was injured, and, obviously Todd encouraged me to do that as well. But I would go out there, maybe run some passing drills, and, be there for the session and try to help the kids out. But it's such a talented academy. Like,
yeah.
I know a lot of players want to go play MLS, but, in our region, we have so many good players. And, I feel like throughout the years, the academy has done fairly well to, produce very talented players.
Yeah, no doubt. I feel like the team is playing well.
Yeah.
And the results, last week we played well, but like the results haven't really shown that, right? We've had, some bad officiating, some unfortunate last-minute goals given up that were just pretty much bad luck. How are the guys feeling? And you're a captain, obviously, so you're a leader on and off the field. Like, how is the group feeling despite where we're at in the standings, but still putting together like some pretty good performances?
Yeah, the team has performed really well. I feel like you're right. We should be higher up in the standings, but we don't. I think Neil expresses this a lot, but we don't like to really blame the refs or get into that, because I think in the first game they kind of help us, and we go up a man and we're able to win the game, So, you're always gonna get bad officiating or good officiating, whatever it is. So you just got to live with it and try to do your best when you're on the field. But I think we should be higher in the standings. But in the last 2-3 years we started and we've been undefeated and clean sheets and best defense, and then towards the end of the season we're not able to get the hardware that we really want. So I don't think it's about how you start, but I think the team, once we click, once we start scoring more and defend better as a unit, I think we'll be okay. I think the team has done fairly well. We've just been fortunate, just that look of that we need just a little bit.
Yeah, no, I agree. All right, so we're trying something new. First off, Roman came up to me 2 weeks ago and he's like, "Hey, next time you have my dad on the podcast, I want to submit a question." I was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "That's a great idea. Like, we were talking about having him on anyway, so this is perfect timing." So do we have Roman's ready first? Okay, we're going to play. Roman has a question for you, and then he has a question for me, so we'll play them both.
Hi, Connor. I have one question for you and then one question for my dad. So I'll start with my dad. Who is your favorite player that you ever played with? And then for you, Connor, I know you made a starting 11 with Katie and Luke. Who would you put on the bench?
I have a question for you too, but we'll wait till
we'll
end.
get there. Yeah. Go ahead. You want to go first? Because I'm gonna need some input from you on the starting.
I don't know if he was meaning best player or favorite player I've played with Sac Republic or just in general.
I'm not sure either. I bet he was meaning Sac Republic, but you can answer both. It's up to you.
I just don't want to go back in the locker room when people hear this, and then they're gonna hate me.
As soon as I got the starting 11 question, I knew it was gonna be bad.
You had guys ignoring you, huh?
I left two people off who I shouldn't have, and I'm gonna address it. I'm gonna address it here when we finish. Yeah.
That's what you think. It's what you think, bro.
No, I like on the spot. Like I didn't. It's not like I like put pen to paper. Like did some research. Like it was off the cuff. Missed a couple people. I'll talk.
Well,
about that
it is hard to put something together when you're just here. You're trying to do quick. You forget about some players.
Yeah,
it's okay.
Yeah.
Man, I've had so many good teammates. I've had a lot in Mexico. I've had a lot here.
Yeah.
I think favorite teammate in Sacramento. Man, I don't know. I got too many. Oh man, I'm not gonna say anyone from this year because
That's a good move.
if I say one of them, there's just,
everybody's gonna be upset.
the rest are gonna be upset.
Yeah.
But I have two in mind that, I truly respect and that I, have good bonds with is Ivan Mirkovic and Mickey Daly. Both played here.
Both on the championship team.
Both on the championship team. But I knew them before even coming here.
Really?
Because we had a season at Ventura Fusion, and we played together before coming here. So it was kind of, we already knew each other.
Yeah.
Mickey's wife and family is very close to mine. So, we still all talk. And I'm sure a lot of the older guys, if they hear this, they're going to text me and say, oh, I thought, that's messed up. You didn't mention me. But,
yeah.
I'll go with those.
All right. And then he said, starting 11, who was be on my bench? Got to address the two I missed. Luis Felipe is the biggest blemish. I'm sorry, Luis. I wasn't thinking. I'm sorry. And I missed Russ too. I think is the other one I missed. But I think I said.
Is this on a 18-man roster or a 20-man roster? Because if it's 20, then you could add them.
No, I think Luis should be in the 11.
Oh, really?
Just he's been here. You guess so. When I did it, it was like, all right, longevity matters.
Who was in your 11 then?
I don't remember. I think it was I put Vidiello as goalie. I put Cohen. I immediately back up. So that's an easy one on my 18. I basically did an 18 without doing an 18. I did Lee Desmond. I think I did Emra. And I think I did Connor Donovan.
That's just because you guys are boys, huh?
I did Jack at right wing back. I didn't really have a left wing back was a hole for me in my really? Spot. Yeah, or left back, left wing back, whatever you want to call it. You could also change your formations too. That's a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
Like if you had multiple. So you were in midfield. I think I said Jeremy Hall. Okay, so I would shift I would move Luis into my starting lineup. I would move Jeremy into the bench, and it's mostly because Luis has been here since 2020. Mm-hmm. So he's been here a while.
Yeah.
I already said you, obviously. I didn't really need to say you, but
you could leave me out. I'm not gonna.
Come on. I think I said Villian Bijev on the wing.
Good player.
I would put Russ on the other wing, and I'd put Iwasa up top. I don't know how many I'm at, but that's pretty close.
Okay.
Yeah,
you got your 11.
That's my 11.
Yeah.
18 is where it gets tough because there's just a lot of. I mean, Cohen I think is the easiest in goal. Yeah, I mean that's where it starts to get tough. And I have I love LaGrassa. He's probably not on my list, but he's like one of my favorite. That dude is hilarious. So
he's good people.
Gosh dang. If I did more research.
You had Jeremy Hall obviously on the bench.
Jeremy Hall, Cohen. So I need what? 5 more?
Yeah.
I probably need another outside back. Shannon Gomez maybe. Okay, and then maybe in the midfield Jaime Villarreal.
Jaime's a good one.
Jaime's a good one. Here's why he's a good one, though. He's also, do we give him credit for losing the Miracle Albani? I think we should.
Helped us out a little bit.
It helped us out a little bit. They also did the hot chip challenge with me, which was crazy that we did that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I got those two. Yeah. Maybe like Sam Werner, maybe out on the wing. I'm missing some guys from the 2014 team. So I would say Ivan's got to probably be on there. Who else am I missing from that team that was...
James Kiffey.
Well, Kiffey played a while, yeah.
Manya.
Yeah.
Mickey Daly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot,
All right, well, that wasn't a great, I don't
want to, yeah, I mean, I could say a few. I could say a lot more.
Well, it's tough. I mean, it's hard, man. That's what I don't want to upset people,
It's okay.
So Russ was more upset though that I didn't put him as the quarterback in that podcast.
That guy, he's not a good quarterback anyways. You can't throw a football. The guy's hockey. Let him play hockey. Yeah.
He is hockey. Yeah. All right, and then we had Luis Felipe record some stuff. Did you know about this?
No.
Yeah. We have it right? Yeah. All right.
The best roommate to have on road trips.
The best roommate. Oh man. I mean, now it has to be you, Luis, because this is the only one that I've had. But no, he's a great roommate because I think we complement each other very well. He asks me for water, I'll go bring him some water, or he'll go down and get gear and he'll just grab it without me asking, or bring me whatever it is, you know.
Yeah. You guys got a special bond.
We do,
sure.
and he, you know, we've been together for a while. We've lived some great moments the last 4 years, 3 years, whatever it's been. But yeah, he sleeps like a bear, so he's always sleeping, which is great. You know, I kind of feel like I have my own room. But yeah, we just have, you know, we have a lot of things in common, and you know, Luis is a great guy, very humble, and
obviously what he did with Roman was.
Oh yeah, man, how could I forget that? But yeah, that was just truly inspiring for me, and. You know, I've told him before, you know, I've you know, won a brother in this life, and that's him. You know, I consider him a little brother, a little big brother.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. All right, what's his next one?
What teammate would be the best coach?
What teammate would be the best coach?
Hang on, by the way, I got to add Nick Ross back to my 18. I think Nick Ross should be on the 18.
Yeah? Okay.
Sorry.
So you got to take someone. I'm kidding. I think Nick would be a really good coach because he's very smart. You know,
that's what I was thinking.
He sees the game really, really well. Luis, you would not be a great coach. Trying to think. I think Jack could be a good coach too.
Oh,
yeah.
All right.
I think Jack could be a good coach. I see it in him. I might be missing some guys.
Yeah,
you know, but
it's all right. Well, remember when there was something that I asked you to do a while back? I think it was like maybe 2 years ago, and you were like, "Hey, but make sure they put in, this is for the league." And I was like, "Hey, you got to record this for the league." Blah, blah. I think it was like 5 players you played with or that you enjoyed.
Yeah.
You were like, "I'm gonna pick nobody from Republic," and they fully omitted that from the article. And you were like, and I felt so bad.
It was the top. It was a 5-a-side team. Top 5.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I was mad.
Oh yeah, I walked in the locker room and guys were like, "Oh, I'm not good." we were in Colorado Springs last year. We won. It was the first time we won in a long time. You know, so had some maybe 1 or 2
Jägermeisters.
No.
Oh,
just 2 beers. You know, just to sleep well after the game.
Yeah.
And then Russ and BTL come in my room. Obviously, they can't sleep either, but they were just like, "Oh, who's your best 5-a-side team?" You know, so we were talking for hours, like trying to figure that out. And there were some good names, man.
Yeah.
They played with some good players, and you know, I agree with a lot of the stuff they say. Yeah.
Well, they played together in Pittsburgh too.
Yeah, they had each other in their best. Of course, they did. You know?
Yeah. I figured
they wouldn't be in mine, but.
All right. Before we wrap, you brought a question for me, and I'm scared to death of what it's going to be.
Yeah.
Because
I thought about it. I actually thought about it walking into the office. USL.
Okay.
2025 championship game.
Okay.
Okay. We go to PKs.
Okay.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Who would you pick on the team to take the game-winning PK? I know you're probably gonna say me.
I can't say you.
No, can't say me. Think about it, okay? Think about the past. Think about the PKs we've shot. Okay, who would be that one guy? Well, let's just say it wasn't even in PKs. 90th minute to win it.
Okay. So not like
No.
fifth or whatever
No.
in the PK taker. Okay.
Let's do that. 90th minute, 1-1.
The way you asked it made me think like there's a right answer. So you're saying based on what I've seen historically. Okay. Am I gonna offend people? Probably.
No. Oh, maybe.
I'm gonna mention people so I don't offend people. Luis Felipe has taken some great PKs.
Okay.
But unfortunately not going to be the guy. Sorry,
Okay.
Luis. All right, for me, it's between... I think it's Russ.
Okay. Fair.
You can make... I think... Portillo was on my mind for a second.
That was probably one of mine.
Yeah. So that... Yeah. But I guess I'm recency bias a little bit. Russ has taken and made a PK this year, so I think that's probably why. Herrera's on the list too. I feel like I don't know if Prano's taken PKs, but I feel like I'd be terrified of him taking PK. To be clear, as a goalkeeper, because I would have no idea what that guy's gonna do.
Yeah.
All right, that's my pick. Are those good picks? Who am I missing? Russ.
Okay. No, those are good. Nick Ross is probably
Nick Ross is good.
good
Oh, Nick Ross is
shooter.
good. Yeah.
Trying to think.
But like, it's also mind games a little bit too, I feel like. Right? Maybe
Yeah.
I'm wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it's not easy. It's not easy,
No.
you know, getting up there and shooting a PK. Yeah. So, but Russ is the type of player that could win you a game any time of the,
Yeah.
you know.
And then Todd's gonna sprint to him, and he's gonna be the first one there.
Yeah.
And then
cramp.
And then cramp.
Man, I've lived so many good moments. I'm seeing this poster and some
Yeah.
of the things that you guys have in this office, and you know, the ties that I have with this club are amazing. You know,
It's crazy, man.
yeah.
So many good moments, and still
And they're not
more.
done. Yeah,
They're not done.
They're not done.
That's the best part, man. That's the best part. Thank you for coming in, dude. This was so much fun. I really appreciate it. Man, can't tell you how good it is to see you back out on the pitch, seeing number 8 out there, man.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you. I hope, you know, I want to retire as a champion, and I'm going to do everything in my power to, you know, help this team in whatever way I can to lift some trophies. We're long due, and this club, you know, should be lifting trophies every year. So,
Yeah.
you know, we have three cups that we're playing for.
Yeah.
Let's go for,
Yeah.
you know, all 3. Why not?
I love it. All right. Thanks, man.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Connor.